Okay everyone, happy 2020. It's officially the new year and I'm going to start the new year off by doing a bike check on the bike I'm currently riding. This is the 2019 Orbea Occam AM. It's 150mm of travel front and rear, and this one was the mid-range version when I bought it. M30 being the lowest you can get. This is the M10, and then the limited being the most expensive, but I'm not rich enough to pay for the limited, I'm afraid. We'll start off by talking about the frame. It's full carbon in red, and it's a size large for me. That's actually the largest size they do for the carbon ones. I don't know why they did extra large for the aluminiums, but largest of the largest I could get for the carbon one, which probably could have done with an extra large, to be honest. But it's not too bad. Yeah, it's a pretty nice feeling bike. It looks pretty good too, I think, in red. These bikes came in either red or mint green. The mint green one was nice, but personally I prefer this one a lot more. Geometry, it's got a 66.5 degree head angle on it, which isn't massively slack. It's more on the steeper side of things, which for a trail bike is kind of what you want. You don't want a super slack head angle. It kind of kills the feel of the bike a bit. I know it makes it better for like downhill orientated stuff, but for me I need something that's good at going uphill and downhill, living here in Scotland. What else? The chainstay length, I can't actually remember what size it is, but I'll stitch it in now. It's a fairly short chainstay compared to the last bike I had anyway, which I really like. I know having a longer chainstay makes the bike more stable going over the rough stuff, because it makes the wheelbase a lot longer, but I like a sort of playful bike that I can throw about, and a shorter chainstay makes it a lot easier for stuff like manuals, because it's easier to get your weight over the rear, and it's better for bunny hops as well, so perfect for me. A bottom bracket height is a 13mm drop, and to be honest, I've felt in the climbs I do hit the cranks quite a lot and stuff. I don't know if that's just suspension setup's wrong or whatever, but yeah, it's quite bad for that, which is a negative. But I suppose the lower your bottom bracket is, the more stable the bike feels going downhill, so it's a compromise. What else to talk about? Geometry wise, I'll stitch the seat post angle in as well. I can't actually remember what it is, and I'll stitch the wheelbase length in too while I'm on the subject of geometry. But I suppose we'll move on to the fork. It is Fox Float 34s, 150mm travel, like I said. A huge improvement in the last forks I had. Last forks I had were Fox Talus, and they were like 2014, so they weren't the best, but these things, yeah, a massive improvement. But yeah, so not much else to say about them. I'm sure everyone knows about how good Fox forks are, because quite a lot of people have them. And then the shock is Float DPX2, so yeah, also 150mm travel to the rear as well. What we go on to next, the drivetrain. So this is SRAM EXO group set, really good. Nice smooth shifting when it's set up properly. The cassette SRAM as well, SRAM Eagle. Moving on to the cranks, we have Trivative Descent carbon cranks. I went for the smaller size that I could opt for when I bought this bike. purely because I wanted a bit more clearance on the ground when I'm pedalling. So I'm really glad I didn't go for the larger size, because I am still hitting them. I'm quite wary about carbon stuff. I don't mind carbon frames, but carbon cranks and handlebars I'm not really so keen on, because I know how much cranks can get knocked when you're cycling, and carbon handlebars are quite prone to getting crushed in the stem as well if you're not careful. But I've given these a few hits and it doesn't seem to have affected them, so quite pleased with them so far. Pedals, Crank Brothers, Danny McCaskill, large platform pedals. Bought these purely for my old bike, and I got them because the pedal kickback on my old bike was ridiculous, and I felt my feet were vibrating off the pedals a lot, so the larger platforms help a lot with that. But on this bike, I think the smaller pedals would be the way to go, because you get more clearance with them. So yeah, but I've got them, they're working, so I'll just keep using them until they either break or I either just decide to buy a new set. So yeah, and then it's a KMC chain as well. Not really anything exciting about that. That's right. Next, we'll move on to the dropper post. Okay, this is a Crank Brothers 150mm dropper post. This is an optional upgrade from the original one that was on it. The original that you get with it as standard is a race face 125mm dropper post, which definitely isn't enough for someone like me. So opted to pay an extra 90 quid to get this one added on. But to be honest, if I could go back I wouldn't, because even with 150mm I still need more. I need like 170 or maybe even more, to be honest, because I feel I'm still using the seat clamp to move the whole thing up and down all the time. So I should have just stuck with the original and then bought a 170 separate. But what can you do? You know what I mean? So I suppose we'll go into the wheels now. I'll start with hubs and work my way out. These are Hope Pro 4 hubs in red to match the bike, obviously. Laced to Nexty carbon rims with custom decals on them. I've got my name on them there, look, just to make it look like I'm professional. And they're laced together with double butted spokes and red brass nipples. I think they look pretty cool. I bought these after this is not the original spec. I bought these wheels myself after getting the bike, and there was nothing wrong with the DT Swiss wheels that came on originally, but I just think that they look pretty cool, so I wanted them, and yeah, I bought them. So, and the main difference that you feel with them is how stiff they are compared to the alloy rims. So yeah, liking them so far, and they look pretty good too. Tyres, running a 2.6 Magic Mary at the front. Best tyre in the market in my opinion. Very grippy, can't go wrong really with it. Finding grip in places you shouldn't compared to the tyres that were on it before. I think it was a high roller in the front and Maxxis Ardent at the rear. And then at the rear I've got a 2.35 hand damp. You're not really needing a top grip tyre at the back, so yeah, that's the dream combination is the Magic Mary at the front and hands damp at the rear. Brakes. Now, running the Shimano Dior XTs, front and rear. These came on the bike. They are only 2-pot brakes, and I'm feeling like I need to get some 4-pot brakes for it, because these do heat up quite quickly, especially with the small 160 rotor at the rear. Along descent you really do notice the biting points change because of the brakes heating up, so I am going to order a set of Shimano Z brakes for this bike. Speaking of the rotors, these are both Hope. Got them purely because I think they look pretty cool, and to be honest, I've actually noticed improvement in the braking just by changing these to these rotors. They don't seem to heat up as quickly, which is a good thing. We'll move on. Cockpit, race face, just came standard on the bike. Not really fussed for carbon bars, so yeah, pretty standard stuff. Grips, running the Sam Pilgrim Pill grips. Bought them just because I like watching Sam's channel. I think he's pretty funny, and it's a way of supporting the channel, buying stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I got them. Anything else to talk about? Saddle is Celi Italia. Just came standard again. Not much to say about it. Felt it was quite harsh when I first got it, but I have got used to it quite a bit. Now, I just want to talk about, I know the new 2020 Occam is out, which kind of was a bit disheartened when I bought this and then found out the new Occam was coming out a few months after I got it. But after being told by people who've ridden the new Occam that have previously owned this one, and yeah, just looking at the pictures of it, I'm not really that bothered anymore. I think that this bike looks better than the new Occam, and I think that the 29-inch wheels aren't really for me. Yeah, I like a smaller, I've kind of set in my ways, I like a smaller bike because it's a lot easier to manoeuvre, and it's a lot easier to take control off when you're riding the trails. It's I feel like when you're riding a bigger bike, sometimes it feels like the bike is taking you for a ride instead of you taking it for a ride. So yeah, that's just me. I know 29 are supposed to be faster, but in my opinion I think 27.5 is more fun. So to summarise up this bike, I've had it for nearly a year now, and I think it's a really good bike. It's a lot of fun. You can chuck it over jumps, you can push it into rock gardens, it's really nimble in the corners. It's definitely nowhere near an enduro bike. I feel coming down Monroes and stuff like that, you do feel you could use with a slacker head angle and even a bit more travel, but it's a compromise. The more travel on the slacker head angle is going to mean it's not as good at tight situations and just general trail riding. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I suppose that'll do. Thanks for watching. Give us a like or a comment if you like the bike or you don't like the bike, or yeah, just let me know what you think, or if this video helped you in any way, and hopefully the next video will be me out riding it. So thanks for watching. Cheers.